That's good.
It is.
That's good. Oh,
Yeah.
so quickly. It's just one right out of the park.
Well, I mean, that's how it is. Good evening to you, Dennis.
And to you.
It is a hour of happiness, 60 minutes of pure joy that we call happy hour. And let's see, this is episode number 51. We are right on the precipice of completing the circle of time and folding back in on ourselves. And I don't know, soon you're going to hurt your arm or something. It's, you know, as the world turns, you know,
it spins. Tire rotation. Yeah, and here we are.
It's important to rotate your tires.
It's important to rotate. You're tired.
Well, yes. When you're tired, it's important to rotate your.
Particularly.
Yes.
As so many times I've said to others, rotate on this, mofo. So.
I'm
right.
Spin it. Say.
Spin it, baby. Spin it, baby.
Put this on the turntable and spin it.
Record of love.
Well, that's, you know, if you're drinking a stout, it might be a Guinness World Record of Love.
And if they ain't Forrest, they sure going to be a Guinness.
Exactly. If they ain't Forrest Gump, they a Guinness Gump. Yeah.
An iconic character, if ever there was one.
Forrest
Gump, yes. And you know, Tom Hanks was third choice for that role. I read somewhere, you can find it and post it, but it's impossible to imagine anyone else. Impossible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, right?
Exactly. In that time period, yeah, no one could possibly do it.
It's one of the most sensitive renderings of American life in such a crazy, even political sense of the times and the leadership and the cuts in of Reagan and Nixon and all of the awards that he received and stuff. It's an interesting slice of historic Americana with this odd duckling up course of him having these incredible skills.
Right.
You know, ping pong comes to mind in some of the most astounding footage of any movie at its time. I think now it
sure
might
no, and it was cut, and it was made for the generation that had that nostalgia for those iconic moments in time.
Yes.
And you know, it's not meant to be thought about critically about how plausible is it that this person does all these things. That it's a ride through nostalgia.
That's right.
Is what it is.
But you'd absolutely suspend belief without even knowing that you've done it.
Right.
Without ever considering it, because Hanks and the entire cast and crew, they make you believe it right away.
Right.
Right away. You're not in the fifth or sixth frame when you've got the plausible expectations, you know.
Right.
And from that point forward, it's never a matter of thinking about it because you just believe it. At least for me, it drew me in to the point of it was like I was there, man. I mean,
yeah.
You know, hey, we could Photoshop people who paid us money into being part of those videos, right, with Nixon and stuff, with Forrest Gump.
Possibly.
We just have to make sure that the producers don't ever find out about it.
Well, the technology now to do these fake videos is getting super extra creepy. We've discussed this before, but how you can make things appear totally real in a video, totally in a computer and whatnot.
Speaking of which, and just to mention, but probably not timely, did you see the season finale for The Outsider?
No, I've fallen. Well, I've been so since coming back from down under. My brain schedule has been just so upside down, topsy turvy, that I have had so little time to consume any media. It's been just sleep when I can, and when I can't, not. So it's been. Right. I have not watched almost anything.
Yeah.
But
these are exciting times. I'll fill you in.
I'm so scared that Outsider is going to let me down, like in a way that's not pleasing in the finale. But we'll talk about it at a later date.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed. I will have watched it twice by then.
well, you have time to spare.
I have ample time. Ample time, which is why, of course, I'm drinking Alaska Amber. Not to be mistaken for Alaska Ample.
Ample time would be a good name for a beer.
Ample time.
Miller time. No, it's ample time. It could be it's not apple cider.
Would it be 2 words? It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ample.
Have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time.
Yes, ample.
Yeah. Well.
So
anyway,
you're enjoying your amber in your amber time.
Yeah. Things are looking up here.
Your amber in your chamber.
I'm amber in my chamber. The weather has warmed up. The snow is all but gone. It was 50 plus degrees. We walked throughout Kalamazoo 10, 11 miles in 2 days. My wife with me for half of that because one of the 2 days. And we walked through the...
Because she couldn't make it and you just left her at the halfway stage? Or?
Shoot. No.
All right, I'll send someone.
That reminds me of the guy who said to me that he said, my father-in-law is 88 years old and he's walking 5 miles every day. You say, oh, that sounds good. He says, yeah. We haven't seen him for 2.5 weeks.
That's such a well-constructed joke. The any joke that can set you up with the expectation, without just implicitly of what's true, and then shatter that tower of expectation.
Right.
It's so good. So anyway, you've been doing some walking.
Yeah. We've been doing some walking and some talking. So so it's been nice to get outside after the snow where it's not slippery and blah 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 and cold. But the spring is about sprung. The grass is going to spring forward. It was a relatively mild winter, even for this mild climate in this part of Michigan, but we're used to much worse near Buffalo. And they got much worse, but for them, equally not terrible the winter as they had been in years past. So it's good to see spring here without me getting so sick of it. I had years because it won't stop, and it's relentless and cold and more snow. And this year, not like that. So
every year where I live is the winters are slightly less horrible.
Yeah, well, there's things going on in the world of climate. But it's all fake. You're just making it up.
Yeah.
Planting the seeds of doubt in people's minds.
Well,
there's something wrong with the climate.
If they
I'll tell you what about the climate. It's just about weather.
If they grow into trees of climate that are sucking CO2 from the air, then let's plant some seeds of doubt. Trees of doubt.
Oh man!
Whoa! It's like I planted some seeds of doubt 20 years ago. Look, the best time to plant seeds of doubt are 20 years ago or today. That's what they always say. And so 20 years ago, I planted some seeds of doubt, and now I have a beautiful tree of doubt that I can climb in and monkey around in, and the leaves of doubt fall upon my lawn of doubt.
What kind of monkey do you imagine yourself? And please,
a monkey of doubt.
There's implications. Yes, you said that you would be in the tree of doubt, monkeying around, which I immediately superimposed your face on a monkey's body. But it Googled up 4 choices. I need to know which of these monkey styles I should paste your face on. So which is it?
Well, I mean, now that we're rounding the bend into our earlier episodes, I'm going to go with Spider Monkey.
I would say so.
Because
in fact, there were no choices. It came up. I glued it on there. And that's what you can throw on the board. But
yes,
it's all done for you. Here you go. I'll just press send.
Spider-monkeys. Spider-monkeys in trees of doubt.
Revisited. I still think about that. Spider-monkeys running across the road down in Florida. It had been loose. Some pet of some kind that got loose or was let loose and running across the road. It's pleasant. Not as a similar seared image in my brain as the bat, which came to me the other day in the dark house as I went to open the very sliding door where the bat had gone in.
The image of the bat came to you.
He disappeared right in front of my eyes. This huge bat through this little crack. And I slowly opened that up, and that image kind of burst through. But
just the image, not the bat.
That's right.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, I mean, aren't we all really spider monkeys swinging on the tree of doubt?
You are. The world's become tribal. And I think that what you're saying is true about your tribe. I'm not sure. I think my tribe's already on the ground. We've already got fire, man.
Did you fall?
Your your tribe is still in the trees, and we're trying to catch you, and we'll roast you and eat you. Monkey people.
Your tribe has fallen from the tree of doubt. That's so sad. into the
fertile grounds
of certainty. Yeah.
Virility.
Well,
the fertile ground of virility and vitality and vibrancy.
Well,
and vigorous precipitation.
Oh. Speak it, brother. Speak it, brother.
Look that up. Precipitation.
Precipitation.
Google it.
All right. I will.
Wikipedia. Wikipedia, you can just put it there and make up what it means, and they'll accept it. And then when people go there, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that with some of this? It's up to you. You can edit and cut and paste, because you got so much time on your hands.
Right.
Not like you have to work for a living.
No.
Or sleep or anything.
No.
With your world travels, but you've got this jet laggy thing going on in your brain, which for a brain is spookily kind of addled as yours. I would think that any slowdown
spookily addled, yes,
result in a turn down. If it went any slower, it would begin to rot.
It's definitely a turn down. Normally my thoughts are like this, and now my thoughts are like this. They go really slow, and it's just hard to.
Hey, listen. I think it would be a kick to anybody who's listening if you would please do the rest of the show in that voice. If you do for the entire rest of the show, I will personally donate $150 to the fund, which only you have and only you can spend. Okay? Ready, set, go.
That is a terrible idea. I will not do that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, look, man, people... You can, when you're listening to podcasts, you can often control the speed that they're played at. So you can speed them up where people sound smart, like we do when we're just speaking normally, or you can slow it down where people sound like they're drunk and aren't really paying attention to what's going on, man. And it can be really funny.
Well,
but so I leave that up to the listener. They can.
But if you record it in that voice, when they slow it down, it'll be even further slowed down.
Right. Okay, the next 30 minutes, we're going to say 7 words.
That would be exciting for the listeners. Anyway, moving on.
There's an art project somewhere in Germany, I think, where they're playing some symphony music piece, but they're playing it really slowly, such that like each note takes a year. And hold on, I have to Google this. Okay, so it's this music piece called "As Slow as Possible" by John Cage. Have you heard of John Cage as a composer?
I think the name may be familiar, but I couldn't place it.
He's most famous. Well, that's a great way to say I don't know, which is what I would do as well. His most famous thing is that he had a composition, in quotes, called 4 minutes and 33 seconds, where he went up on stage and the audience, he was a known composer, and the audience was all excited, and he went up on stage and did nothing for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. There was not a single note, and the idea is that he's like reminding you of the ambient sounds around you, man. It's like we're never really in silence, man. And
here we are.
And you can download the MP3 of 4 minutes and 33 seconds, where it's just a silent MP3. It must compress really well, but it's. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, but anyway, there's this music piece he's got called "As Slow as Possible," and they're playing it in this church in Germany, It began in
John Cage.
It began in 2001, and the whole song is going to have a duration of 639 years, ending in 2640. So they're just playing one note. I don't know how long each note takes, but there's just one or two notes every day of this piece, and it's like art, man. It's just like what is time really, man?
And how much is each
for the
episode?
trees? How much? No, it's just
how long?
How long is each what?
I thought it was episodic, where they do two notes and then they do two more notes. And
No. It's a piece being played at a set tempo
in real time.
In real time for 700 years, and they've just slowed it down so much that each note takes like a day or two, and the residents of that town must be just thrilled that there's this organ that's been pumping out a musical note for 24 hours for going on 18 years, 20 years, almost 20 years now.
No kidding.
So that's
crazy.
What is time, man? But
what is time, man?
But again, going back to our tree of doubt, man, trees live at such a different pace than we do, and the people that study trees can put themselves in this mindset of how the tree is and how it's where the seasons are just going by really quick, and it's just a different way of experiencing time. And then you've got other animals like pigeons and stuff, where pigeons see like a couple hundred they perceive a couple hundred like frames per second of activity, and we humans max out at like 24 or 30 frames per second.
Give me those numbers again. I gotta observe them because I think they sound remarkable.
Okay, so we I'm not 100% sure about the pigeons, but humans, like in order for us, like when they made moving pictures, as they were called when you were a boy, they discovered that if you changed the picture at least 24 times a second, it looked like motion.
24 times a second. What's a pigeon?
Now I have to look it up. Pigeon vision. Vision
pigeon. Oh, there's a song in there.
Okay, so it's not quite that much. Pigeons need 75 frames per second to create an illusion of movement. So our movies would just look like slideshows to them.
And our movement must appear slow to them then.
Of course. Which is why you can't ever catch or kick a pigeon,
right.
Because
we're going. Is it so? Bee, look out! And the bee just flies away.
Yeah, bees probably too. Yes, but
wasp. It scared me. You know the latter story.
I was sure.
Jump. It was quite the acrobatic jump. But anyway, where can people listen to that episode?
It's one of the ones listed at happyhour.fm. Don't know which one. But you'll have to go through
the library.
You'll have to go through them all.
You should try a repository. It's our repository.
Our suppository?
Yes. Oh, yes. That's it.
If you can, we sell special suppositories at happyhour.fm that will you will know the whole catalog.
Yeah, man. You'll shit your brains out.
Yeah, man. Or brain your shit out. No, that doesn't make sense. So, pigeons. Pretty clever.
Uh-huh. Have you ever had pigeon soup?
I have. We eat pigeon here in Spain. They have, I wouldn't say domesticated, but the people farm them, keep them in cages, and then put them in stew.
Have you had pigeon porridge?
No pigeon porridge.
I heard about a place that made too much of it, and they had to put it in storage.
The pigeon porridge went into storage?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's... You got too much pigeon. What do you do when you have too much pigeon? You put your pigeon porridge into storage.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So what's the weather like there in España?
It's pretty good. It's, let's see. Today it was 12 degrees, which is 54.
Nice.
Not super cold. Not
right.
But
you chilly wind.
Still need a jacket.
That's the way we were here. Same. A little warmer here maybe, but we went. We walked in the sun I walked all the way downtown. I walked about 6 miles, went all through Kalamazoo, took pictures.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I should send them to you. But one, I took a picture, and I'm going to call each one of them a certain frame. It's going to say, the coolest fence in Kalamazoo. And another one's, and you won't know where it is except a picture of it. And
Okay.
another one will say, the most gnarled route in Kalamazoo, and then take a picture of it, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And somehow
It's like a treasure
it'll
hunt.
be turned into a bingo.
Exactly. Where our listeners can go, and Dennis has buried $1,000 at each location. No.
$1,000. Very $1,000. What would that look like? You pictured a big pirate's chest?
You sort of look like a gnome that needs to be,
It would all be-
squirreling away his riches.
Yeah, that's right. Make fun of me if you will. Your physical appearance is so overwhelming I can barely speak sometimes, and you dare tell me that I am hobbit-like.
Well,
What?
Well, I think the nerds are going to be complaining that you're equating gnomes and hobbits, but, you know.
Hey,
Screw you, nerds.
Speaking of green, I saw Green Book.
We've mentioned that a couple times. Is this the first time?
First time.
One.
It was fabulous.
Wait 1 second. Okay, you can continue.
All right. What do you got there? What'd you pop there, bro?
San Miguel, bro.
San Miguel. Whoa, man.
St. Michael.
San Miguel.
Yeah.
Well, as you know what that calls for? I must say, and here's to you and yours.
Okay. Nice. Last guy, Amber. Okay, back to the movie. Green Book. Best picture.
Oh my.
Lots of racial tension.
Oh my. So well done.
Yeah.
So well done. And I have been a devoted fan beyond all others.
Wait, Viggo Mortensen. Yep.
He is amazing in everything he does, and he's so surprising every time that it's almost not surprising that he's an incredible surprise. Again,
Yeah.
nails this Italian, and gains so much weight as to look like him. You know,
right.
And the iconic scene of when he's eating in his hotel room, he takes an entire pizza, folds it in half. It's literally 2 foot long. He can barely hold it, and he starts eating it from one end to the other.
Nice.
And you know he'll finish it.
He's a hungry Italian boy.
He's
You know.
What? What do you mean the way I talk?
Tony Lip. What a great character name.
Not Tony the Lip, Tony Lip. Tony Lip, because I could bullshit. Oh, and you're proud of that?
Yeah, that was a good movie. I remember that. And Vigo also speaks like perfect Spanish.
Does he?
He's done some movies in Spanish. He was born in New York. His father's Danish, and they moved to South America and they lived in ranches in Venezuela and Argentina. That's why he knows Spanish so well.
Wow.
He used to live in Argentina, despite being of Danish
Wow.
blood. So, yeah, he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah. And it's almost everything he's in is so gut-wrenching, realistic.
Right. Yeah. It goes past acting to be reality.
He's just honest. And, I think we've talked about the one flick he was in where he was a survivalist and raised his kids, and the opening scene was of his son who was 12 or 13 years old killing a deer with a knife. And he played the father of that. And
yes.
We talked about that before, but it's another. When I was watching Green Book and thought about the vast universes of difference between those two characters,
Right.
and his utter, complete channeling of these people,
New person. Right.
as to be astounding, and he's a very touching actor too. He's very
personable.
He evokes emotion because he displays it in subtle ways that are deeply appreciated by his audiences. He's very subtle, and he plays a great bad guy too.
Right.
And oh God, I'm sorry, I can't remember this one flick I'm thinking of, but no matter. But quite an actor. This This stuff is good.
The same people that made Breaking Bad have another TV show that has just started its fifth season called Better Call Saul, which is a spin-off. Which is very ambitiously, it's set before the previous show.
A prequel.
It's a prequel. So you have to so they can't kill off some characters that appeared in the later thing, right?
Sure.
But it's an interesting set of parameters to set for yourself to write an interesting story where
right.
Where that can happen. But anyway, I listened to a podcast that is done by the creators of Better Call Saul, and they also did another movie because they wanted to go and investigate what one of the characters after Breaking Bad would have done. Where this was paid for and made by Netflix, called El Camino, and they followed one of their characters, but the plot doesn't matter. But today I was listening to an episode of their podcast where they were talking about making that show, and they did this special effect that would never have occurred to me as a special effect that you can do in the computer. They wanted to, because so much of the previous show was recorded on handheld cameras, and when they were doing flashbacks to that time that happened during that previous show, they switched their camera from being mounted or on a dolly or something to being handheld to give you that same feeling and sensation of being back in that time. But their cameras were too heavy to be handheld because they were using some really super duper cameras. So this was their problem. How do we do handheld camera movement with a camera that we can't hold in our hands? And
well,
so
I think that is the question of the evening.
No, but hold on. Their solution was extremely innovative. What they did was they had someone hold a camera and record in the sort of way that you would be holding a camera to record something. Just record a blank white sheet with little reference dots on it, and holding the camera and just holding it in a way that someone might lean their weight back and forth from foot to foot or something. And they had them do this for all these different focal lengths and all these different lenses, and then they shot the thing on a stable solid camera, and then they used their computers to go and have their image track this movement of being handheld, which just blew my mind. As
my God, yeah!
Just the cleverness of how you could just come up with that and also execute it, and most of the audience is not going to have any clue that anything like that happened. But that's sort of why I like listening to some of these podcasts where they talk about the insider secrets of how they do stuff.
Yeah, that's quite a story.
Isn't that cool?
That is quite a story.
So
many things I don't understand.
There's more every day.
There's so many things. I don't think I ever will.
Indeed.
In my short time on this world, this earth.
Exactly. You understand what you do, and you don't what you don't. That's my motto.
Put that to a tune.
I understand what I do, and I don't what I don't. Some things I will, most things I won't.
Some things I won't.
What else rhymes with don't and won't?
Should, would.
There's a lot of things I should do, but no, there's more things I should do than things I shouldn't. Shouldn't. Yeah. We need to workshop this more. Maybe.
Yeah. Right.
More things to do.
Hey man, hang on. Let's cam the camera over to the whiteboard, and I'll just throw up a few ideas here.
You got stop sniffing the marker, Dennis. Jesus. Every time we get out the whiteboard.
I admit to that. In fact, I did it with a black one once in front of a crowd, and as I turned away from the whiteboard, I instantly looked like Hitler in his youth, and so it was unnerving for everyone there. I didn't know what they were laughing at, but there I stood, and I only thought that not something ain't working here, and so anyway.
Well, there's your if if our listener takes anything away from this episode,
Which
do not sniff a black marker in front of a crowd, and then say, okay, who here did something, and raise your arm in the air. Don't do that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Bad look.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's that needs no more workshopping.
Well, it's just that you go out and you say hi, and everyone waves at you, and they say hi.
Exactly. With your little...
and because you're the leader, you notice the crowd has made a mess, and so you say hi, littered.
Nice.
Oh, no, not
I
particularly.
littered.
There'll be trouble over this.
My son, my 6-year-old son, had that same problem recently, where he had perhaps he was sniffing, but he had a marker on his upper lip.
On his lip. What color?
It was green.
It was green.
Luckily.
I pictured green as soon as you said that was weird, man. I pictured green, and then I said what color, and you were like green.
Yeah. So that's a Green New Deal, so to speak.
Did you change? Did you change his name to Cortez?
No.
Oh, think about it. So
Cortez was a really bad conquistador. So there's a Neil Young song about him.
Neil Young is just, he's just, to me, in so many ways, the perfect songwriter and musician, because he knows that sometimes less is more and little is great. His imagery is just so satisfying,
And the weird thing is, now he's neither young nor kneeling. So
he's neither what?
Young nor kneeling.
Young nor kneeling.
So.
Oh, like young kneeling.
He could be old. He could be sit old.
I see what you did there.
That's funny. I made it funny.
That's pretty weird. Awkward. What? How many of those pop cans have you popped? He's in his cups, ladies and gentlemen. You have to forgive him. He gets away from time to time.
Cups?
In his cups.
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 Okay. Well. So, how about that old...
Magic Called Love? How about Jerry Lewis and the professor? What was the name of the Jerry Lewis and the something professor? Come on, man, quick.
Nutty?
The Nutty Professor, yes. He was Jerry Love in the when he took the potion, and he was a lounge singer. And it's just, if you've seen, as we've discussed, Mel Brooks and some of his musical, amazing stuff that he does musically, this equals that.
Nutty Professor. Wow, he lived to age of 91.
Yeah, about him changing, never wearing socks more than once. We've talked about that.
We have mentioned that, or I did not know about that, and then you told me about it. And
I purchased all the socks, as we've discussed. They were giving them to charity, but I cut a deal with the guy who's at the door, so now we get them all. We can sell them. Jerry Lewis socks. I think we should make.
You used your money to steal to buy socks that would have gone to charity.
Yeah. And so now we can sell them.
Okay.
And I want to do it, but I want to do a telethon.
Okay.
And I want to call the telethon Jerry Lewis Socks Telethon.
Okay.
We'll make $1 million.
Well, it depends on how many socks.
Well, depending on what you bid, you get some of his socks. About 10 years worth.
Speaking of $1 million,
3,400 pairs of socks, $100 to $1,000 per set of socks, $3.4 million.
Those are some expensive socks.
Or as Brian Williams would say, that's almost.
Oh God, I was going there.
That's almost $1 billion.
Jesus.
Oh my God! Not only does he fucking lie, but he's fucking stupid too. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I'm willing to grant his lie fiasco to misremembering. I don't recall exactly the details, but it seemed like the sort of thing that someone could make a mistake about.
6 occasions? No chance.
No. But every time we remember something, we re-record over that memory of.
Understood.
So that's how you can go, and if you tell the same story enough times, you can be absolutely certain that is the way it happened, even though every time you're making the story a little bit better.
Well, yeah. And so
also known as podcasting.
But the difference here is stark because he was on a 3rd or 4th floor balcony observing it. In his memory, he was on the ground interacting with people and describing what they said to each other. And so it's not that kind of a leap. It's like, unless one would believe that the point you just made is equally as true for stuff that just wasn't misremembered, but it was an original outlandish lie, and eventually you convince yourself that that's sociopathy. That's not just, chalk it up to memory stuff. That's sociopathy. That's the inability to tell the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie. Believing your own lies, in fact, as if they were truth. That's trouble, bruh.
I consider lying to mean also having the truth in your head and intentionally deceiving.
Got it.
Which takes mental effort, which is not what our president does. That is, and there's somebody came out with there's like an academic paper where they drew this distinction between lying, which is when you have to maintain what your listener knows is true, and what you're saying, and what the other thing is where you just say stuff and you don't care about the veracity of it or not, and the semi-official academic term for this is called bullshitting,
right.
which is what our leader does, where just whatever comes to his brain at the moment is what comes out.
This is going to date us, but here we are with COVID-19 spreading throughout the world.
I was wondering when we were going to mention that.
And he's at the CDC in Atlanta, and he's touring it, and he's on tape, and he starts to brag about what he said and what he did, and this and he did that, and he says, and the people, they look, they say, "Oh, how did you get so smart about this?" And he says, I guess maybe it just comes natural. Maybe it just comes natural. And so, the thing to me, it's about the numbers. If I let the people off the boat, my numbers are going to go up. I don't want the numbers to go up. If it's up to me, we'll leave them. And by the way, the governor of Colorado is a sleaze. He's a snake. I don't care what Mike Pence says. Mike Pence has to be nice, and I don't.
I did not hear about this particular episode.
Oh my God!
So just to go back briefly to the Brian Williams thing, I assume you're referring to this clip from MSNBC.
Yes.
Where I just want to repeat it so that it's on the record here, where they said they had some commentator was on, and I think Brian Williams was the one that brought up this tweet. Oh, I saw a tweet.
Yes, that's right.
And they said, yeah, actually, wait. And Brian Williams said, wait, before you say it, we already have this pre-prepared image of the tweet we can put up. And it said,
when I read it tonight on social media, it kind of all became clear. Bloomberg spent $500 million on ads. U.S. population 327 million. Don't tell us if you're ahead of us on the math. He could have given each American $1 million and have had lunch money left over. It's an incredible way of putting it.
It's an incredible way of putting it. It's true. It's disturbing. It does suggest, what we're talking about here, which is there's too much money in politics.
And it's just like
it's $1.53. It's $1.53.
I know that math with numbers that have illion at the end is difficult.
Right.
But oh my God!
Go to John Oliver. He just did an episode on it. I'm sure. It is so insightful. But the other side of this is, imagine that if you gave every American $1 million, that would be 321 million times 1 million. You know what that number is?
That would be trillion something. It's probably
edit it in and make yourself seem like you're smart. Go on, right here.
It's probably our defense budget. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We could give every American $1 million and cut the defense budget.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, but here's something though that the story missed, is that if Bloomberg did give every American $1.53, that all of that money, every person would spend another $1.53 in the economy, and
it would be huge.
And well, And then there would be wealth.
And
Minors it would be $1.53. Minors would be long term. Over 600 or 700 years, it would mean something.
No. But what it does is it would, that $1.50 goes, if you like what the whole problem with the trickle down bullshit is, it's so much better if you give money to the people at the bottom, because they spend it on people at the bottom, and it just flows around at the bottom, creating more wealth
instead of greater.
which is why things like this wealth tax that Warren had, this
still has.
Well, she still has it, but yes. But like, if we, and this was one billionaire that we're imagining taking, what did I don't know what his net worth is, but let's say he spent
Bloomberg
1% of his net worth. 61 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 1% is what he spent on his campaign.
Which range from 56 to as much as 6 more than that. But anyway, it's a lot.
But still, it's 1%. Imagine taking 1% out of anyone's budget to spend on something. That's for most people, that's like that's less than a car for sure, and that's like buying a new phone.
Right. Let's say that 1%. Let's say that Bloomberg not only completes what he's undergoing now, which is a completion of a private organization that will manage the Bloomberg campaign against Trump in support of the Democratic Party, as an independent organization, rather than doing something that's more, like offhanded, like saying, well, I'll give you my campaign apparatus. That was kind of the initial illusion, which was a little more offhanded than when it came down to think about it. He thought, well, no, I could just give it to you. They're my people. I'm going to pay them, and I'm going to do it this way. It's a perfect strategy, because then he doesn't have to have anybody second guess, because what he does with his money is that he plows it into Democratic causes. And he makes sure that the detractors of the policies that require a tightening of government spending get on the side philanthropic support from his billions to make certain that they're made whole, at least to the point to say you can live with this now. It's for the better of the city, or in this case, in the country. Imagine that he and Tom Steyer and the other 60 billionaires who, in fact, as Bernie says, has contributed to Biden's campaign. Imagine if those 60 billionaires are led by a billionaire-led nonprofit effort that Bloomberg is championed in mayor of New York, and apply that to the common good of the democratic principles and in direct support and correlation with the Democratic Party, right? That would be astounding, as opposed to what a progressive would have you do is to say, just tax them. Well, I think you've got to do both, but you've got to have their heart, or you won't be able to keep their money. There's got to be some transformation of the billionaire class, but I don't think it's through total taxation. But imagine all that money, man. What if it goes into the states that are most in need, contributing to the Electoral College, right? That's that, and then therefore you're assured continual political reign for the limits of the entire. You can get the Senate back.
This idea of liberal billionaires compensating for what is the corporates, going against liberal billionaires as individuals, going against the corporate incentivization of the other side to level the playing field. Is that your concept? Never mind. Whatever.
Wait a minute. I didn't know I expected to put a title on it. Would that be
This is the Dennis New Deal.
Uppercase? Is there an acronym for this? It's not a syndrome. I haven't fully developed into a model.
Right.
Let it have an algorithm. It requires some thinking, which is innovative.
Innovative. Yeah, so it's so messed up that the early voting, that's like the early voters weren't so in favor of Biden, but as soon as he won South Carolina, all the people that voted after that just sort of all piled into Biden's
So
camp.
remember the story, and you can count to the episode where I told you about the political consultant who
Yep.
said that you have to imagine a herd of deer.
A herd of
and
deer.
when that first deer or two moves, the entire herd moves in that direction. And the epitome of campaign management is to get to that point at the perfect moment. That is
Right.
what Jim Clyburn did for Joe Biden. And he says, of course, on tape, he knows, of course, that is exactly what was going to happen. That moment in his interview, which is a MSNBC interview, has him directly at the camera when somebody said, could you have predicted blah, blah, blah? And he looked at the camera and he said, yes, of course I did.
I orchestrated it all, motherfuckers.
It's remarkable. And to have this man campaign throughout the South, this is what's going to happen. We vote. When do we vote? We vote tomorrow in Michigan, 125 delegates. And this town is unknown to me, but in the state, it leads in the polls by 16 to 20%. It could be the thing that tells Bernie, you're not turning out the numbers. We are.
This is why it's so stupid, because you're not getting what the voters think or want. You're getting this game theory. I saw some momentum in this other state, so I'm going to vote in my state this way. Like, if we all did it on the same day, things would be totally different.
Well, and great for Joe Biden that they're not that way.
Great for all the presidents.
Well,
that have been.
Well, I think that's true to a large extent. But the fact of the matter is that the people have spoken. And what I get a kick out of Bernie Sanders is he says that the establishment has decided that they're going to be behind Joe Biden, and I'm the establishment, and he fights and he talks about the establishment, the same message he's been preaching for 30 years. And it's like, hey, Bernie, it was the voters, man. He got the popular vote. He got more delegates. There is no party establishment except for fucking Obama, who won't speak. Nancy Pelosi, who runs a great house but doesn't go beyond that. Who do you think the establishment is? Who do you think it is? Perez? Is that it? Do you think it's who?
Well, okay. Are the delegates in all these states literally going by the voters?
Yes.
Because
100%.
they don't have to in some states.
Well, there are some votes in the delegate that are supported by district level.
And then there's like super delegates later on at the
those
convention.
Super delegates are a part of the national, and there's 500 of them, and they only are applicable by voting in the second. So if someone isn't nominated in the first vote, then before the second vote is considered, the super delegates are brought into the voting. And imagine that California, which is the biggest, 416, I think, delegates, there are 500 national delegates. Right. And so it's you don't want it to that point. But to quote Bernie Sanders, if whoever has the most votes should win at the convention. If he doesn't win Michigan tomorrow, Bernie Sanders has no path. Right now, he's in models that are being performed. He has less than a 10% chance. Well, the thing is, that's what they said about Joe Biden. Less than 8 days ago, the deer,
right? But those were
deer moved, and the size of the herd is the entire fucking southern and midwestern United States of America, all the way to Maine and Massachusetts, where he spent in one of those states $11,000 in ads, and Bloomberg spent scores of millions. Joe Biden won states he never went, because what happened was that South Carolina and that vote the deer, and the entire herd went, fuck yeah, this is easy. Yeah, we know Joe, and Joe knows us.
You do agree with me that this is a stupid system, that we shouldn't have this system where some states vote early and those are the deer that start moving. We should all vote at the same time with what we feel is the best thing. So the other option is we could each vote. We could each vote one week each for 50 weeks, and by the end it doesn't matter. Like it's stupid. Like if as a voter we want our vote to count, it should be, I don't know, at the same fucking time as everybody else. It's just, I don't know, it kills me.
Well, you're absolutely true, and the chances of that happening in my lifetime is nil, and in your lifetime,
also,
not much different. But here's the thing about what I suspect about a revolution. A progressive revolution is coming in this country, but it's going to take at least a political generation of something less than totally fucking crazy. We are we are fill up on crazy, and we got to first just stop the fucking crazy. And
yeah, but crazy gets the clicks. Crazy gets the views. Crazy gets the ads. And until we can control how our media organizations, like Twitter and Facebook is the biggest one, are showing us stuff.
Right. Hey, but you want to link to something funny? Poor Joe Biden. The story of his gaffes precedes him. There's a little clip that's out there that shows Biden stumbling on what it means to elect him instead of Donald Trump. And he gets tangled up in the syntax, and he ends up saying there's only one thing that will guarantee the re-election of Donald Trump. and then portrays himself as that.
That's voting for me, right?
As that motivation. And then there's some analysis from a pundit who I agree with. He says, you know what? People don't care anymore about what a person says and how they say it. Nobody cares anymore. Here is a snippet from Trump. Here is a snippet from Trump in an interview, and it is this mind-blowing Jack Kerouac on just way too many drugs. And it's a whole transcript of this insane stuff. And it's like, who gives a fuck if Joe Biden does a little bit of that too? Okay, Trump, you've created the new normal. You've created the new normal. And so here's the new normal. It doesn't matter what the fuck people say. It matters what they do. Here's the new normal. And all Joe Biden has to do during these debates and look over at Trump and say, you know what? You are absolutely a proven disaster, and never, ever respond to anything that Trump says the entire time.
Well, Trump won't respond to anything he says either. So it's like
perfect.
It's just. Did you ever watch that movie Idiocracy that I recommended to you?
Oh, I don't think I did. Did you? Where people send it to me, or did I just? You just tell me.
I recommended it to you. I probably emailed you, but I'll send it to you again. It of just this future United States where the stupidest. Things
yeah. I remember you talking about it. But yeah, I would like to see it.
But to me, Joe Biden reminds me of John Kerry and Al Gore, and I just want to yawn. It's just like
so this is the way that I think about
let's average all of the most moderate values in America into this gray goo and form it into a blob, and there's Joe Biden.
This is the thing that you need to understand about Joe Biden. He has instant and immediate access to some of the best and brightest in this country to be able to put into his administration, will recognize the calling, and will return to public service. He will surround himself, and already has in his campaign, with some of the brightest and smartest people out there. His cabinet and his appointees and his recommenders on policy, his National Security Council, will include Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, who just endorsed him, and he will choose an African-American woman running mate. He is going to blow this thing out of the world, and because he's going to bring in a youth and a vitality, like an elderly John Kennedy, who knows enough to know what he doesn't know because he's a blue-collar guy, and he brings in the likes of Rahm Emanuel and these some of these Maya, who's on MSNBC? Maya, this woman who was in the New York City legal political landscape for years. I have to Google her to get her. But imagine these brilliant people like her involved in actually running the country and running the politics of it. It could be the changing point. And the thing is that he's this old guy. But you know what? That's what we need right now. You know one thing we know about him?
This article just came out today. Like you say, he could be the change. But what he is more of the same. Like this article came out today of a list of his possibilities of people that he could put in his cabinet and stuff. And there are people like Mike Bloomberg and Jamie Dimon, the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan Chase, or another vice chairman of Bank of America could be in the Treasury. And just putting all these, just like Trump did, putting the same old billionaires back in power. And I don't know, it feels
oh, sorry.
Feels kind of
reminiscent.
Feels kind of samey. Like we thought, Obama ran on change you can believe in. And he provided some change, but at least financially, he was pretty pro Wall Street. But I don't know. Biden's going to be just as good for the economy as Trump.
And so the end is near, and as we face the final byway, oh no,
final countdown.
Oh no, not this. Well, you're sending us off on a melancholy note.
Very, very sad. We started talking about politics. We were happy at the beginning.
We've lost all our listeners.
This is the sad hour.
Such a the sad hour. Oh,
man, I just want a hug, but I'm not allowed to touch anyone anymore.
Oh, Trump says, "What am I supposed to do? Not shake their hands and kiss them? I mean, they love Trump. They love Trump."
He says, "I haven't touched my hand and I haven't touched my face in like a month." He says, sniffling.
Are you kidding me? And so Ted Cruz has gone self-quarantine. You know what he's doing? He's reading fucking Seuss books, children's books to himself all day long.
You know what would be just fine with me is...
Just for quarantine forever.
No, well, that too. But, what if all of Congress got infected? What sort of action would we see?
Hey, I had a flash the other day. You know what's going to happen?
What?
Trump is going to get it and die in office.
Hey, so look, if you are an old, weak man, and there's this virus going around that kills old, weak men, why would you put...
the bill.
Yes, so why would you put the person in charge of managing this virus to be the one person that could most benefit from your death? Your vice president. It's like, it's a little too on the nose for a novel.
I suspect that a Ted Cruz kiss is on the way. That's what I think.
God, that's about the worst thing I can imagine. Can you imagine being kissed by Ted Cruz? Jesus Christ.
No, but I'm glad that you can.
Stop.
I'm glad that you have. And I think that's the perfect image to end by. I got to go, bro.
Goodbye. I guess I'll see you next week if we don't all die. Bye. Oh, and there you have it. That's all for episode number 51. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/051. And you can donate to patreon.com/happyhour. That would really help us to keep making these episodes for you. And please, everyone, stay safe, stay indoors, do not cough on anyone, and hopefully we'll see you next week.